Hello, and thanks for joining us on Encore. Coming up in today's show. From their turrets to their dungeons, we're taking you on a tour of France's finest chateaux as the castle of Chambord gets a made-to-measure makeover. Versailles' manicured gardens might get all the attention, but the royal residence is also home to a theatre fit for a king. The curtain will soon be going up there at the start of the opera season. And one artist's creative constructions constitute his own castle of sorts, as Olivier Grossetête takes over a Parisian park with monumental sculptures inviting visitors to step right inside. We're starting today's show in the Loire Valley at one of its largest and most iconic castles. There's something a little different at Chambord this summer, as the Renaissance structure and its gardens have had a full overhaul thanks to a series of ambitious renovations. The castle's also showing an exhibition dedicated to late French President Georges Pompidou, who was a great fan of the royal domain. France 24's Florence Gaillard and Clara Castelli went to check it out.
Color has been re-injected into Chambord Castle. In recent months, gardeners and various architects have brought back to life ancient sketches of flower patterns, which make the ultimate landscape known as French garden.
It's much prettier than it used to be. What we see all around, the lilies and rich variety of flowers, it's also marvelous.
Chambord took 2 centuries to build. Ordered by Francis I, it was finalized by King Louis XIV, who enhanced the original plan. When the Sun King died, his dream of a French garden came true. But a century later, it was gone, gradually replaced with mere green lawns. Historians have worked for 16 years, carrying out archaeological missions to get the original gardens back to life. A historic operation made possible thanks to U.S. billionaire Steven Schwarzman and the French state.
It's been extraordinary to see everyone's enthusiasm. The architects, landscape artists, all the companies who executed the plan in just 3 months' time. 6.5 hectares, 3.5 million euros. It's a landmark project as far as gardens go.
Gardeners have made the project even better than the original, choosing plants that don't require much work or chemicals. Is the makeover limited to the surface outside the palace? Absolutely not. Visiting Chambord is no longer a walk through old rooms with aging furniture. Contemporary masterpieces have made their way inside. For the 40th anniversary of the Pompidou Center Museum in Paris, the castle is hosting an exhibition honoring late President Georges Pompidou, a fan of both modern art and Chambord.
In a way, Pompidou is a successor of Francis I because he loved this area and he supported the arts. There's a historic link between the monarchy and the Republic, which bought the castle in 1930.
Giacometti, Braque, Soulages, Niki de Saint-Phal, and Nicolas de Staël, all to be admired by new generations. 90 pieces that Pompidou brought to the Élysée Palace, to the Prime Minister's chambers, and some to his own home, now comfortably settled in a jewel of French monarchy.
Moving to a castle closer to home now, the Chateau of Versailles is world famous for its gardens and its sumptuous interiors. But the site also has a few hidden gems behind its gilded gates. One of them is the Royal Opera, one of the largest stages in France. Inaugurated under Louis XV, it was the most refined and technically sophisticated theatre of its time. Now restored to its former glory, the curtains are ready to go up once again. Elizabeth Walsh has more.
As night falls upon Versailles, the hour for drama and revelry has begun. From the sky, we can see the distinctive roof of a hidden space inside the Grand Palace. It's the Royal Opera of Versailles. The impressive ceiling displays the 9 muses, each of which inspires a different form of art. In the past, Louis XVI would watch the show from this small alcove, hidden from prying eyes by a gilded grate. The stage, one of the largest in all of France, is a choreographer's dream.
We obviously all feel quite humbled as we are reminded of our history. We are thrilled to have the opportunity to perform on such a historic stage.
In 1768, King Louis XV decided to construct a great showroom in anticipation for his son's marriage to Marie Antoinette. Thanks to innovative design, the showroom was able to welcome a range of different functions.
It could be used for opera, that was its most obvious function. But it was also a place for celebrations for which they adjust the space so that the king and his entourage could be seen and eat in the center. And it could be adapted for balls to take place, where they would raise the floor to create a huge space for dancing.
Over the years, the opera has also witnessed politics. During the radical socialist Paris Commune at the end of the 19th century, it became home to the National Assembly's parliamentary debates. Later, Charles de Gaulle received American President John F. Kennedy. Georges Pompidou welcomed Queen Elizabeth of England. In 2009, the opera reopened after extensive renovations. Today, it welcomes numerous concerts, ballets, and recitals. When the show ends, one need only turn their gaze to the sky in order for the magic to live on.
Next, seeing a woman behind the lens of a camera doesn't raise eyebrows these days, but that wasn't always the case. In recent decades, women have carved out more space in what was a male-dominated industry. Now, an exhibition at Guerlain's boutique in Paris is looking at the work of female photographers, particularly what they bring to the table when looking at female subjects. Let's take a look.
A woman in man's clothing. Fairly common today, but this was in 1948 and the start of a theme. It was the first color portrait of Simone de Beauvoir, photographed by Giselle Freund, who would become one of Europe's most celebrated photographers.
Up until the 1960s or 70s, photography wasn't really a woman's job, but little by little they started to emerge. What's astonishing today is that there are more and more women, not just getting into photography, but photojournalism as well.
Women from today's crop of artists, like Sarah Moon, Bettina Hans, or Valérie Ballon, all bring their particular style to photography, and something else besides, especially with female subjects.
With women, it's easier to get to a more intimate level. There's this kind of empathy, and at the same time, complicity.
Dominique Issemon's been in the trade for decades, taking on fashion, advertising, and portraits. Pictures of actresses and writers adorn her Paris studio, showcasing her skill at capturing a moment's discreet modesty.
I like the ephemeral side of photography. You send a piece off to get printed, then it ends up holding your fish and chips or in your dentist's waiting room.
At the exhibition under the auspices of the European House of Photography, or MEP, Issemon wants to draw particular attention to one of her pictures, a shot captured on a northern French beach in 1985.
I remember that it was a lovely day, and the wind was catching this sheet, just a simple sheet. There were only 7 photos on the contact sheet, and that was it.
MEP's photos are now on display at the Guerlain boutique on the Champs-Élysées. The photos pay homage to women's roles in shaping photography's legacy.
Building a fort out of cardboard boxes is perhaps one of the more creative ways to deal with your leftover packaging. One artist has taken that childhood practice a step further, constructing a series of monumental sculptures that come together to make up a temporary town. Olivier Grossetête has already embarked upon these architectural adventures in Mexico City, Sydney and Helsinki. He's now set up camp at La Villette in Paris. He told France 24 why he's opted to work with this modest material.
It's an often overlooked material, considered fragile, a bit transient. It's in conflict with the robustness of architecture. It's also a non-threatening material. With a bit of sellotape, some boxes and a kitchen knife, you can clip together lots of different pieces. You can put it all together in a variety of ways, like using bricks or stone. So it works quite well to contrast it with luxury buildings.
That installation is just one of the pieces on show as part of the city's summer festival, or Paris l'été, which includes dance, theatre, music and more. We'll leave you with a little taster of what's coming up here in the French capital in July and August. Remember to check out our website. You can also keep up with Encore on our social media channels. There's more news coming up on France 24 after this.
Ce matin me réveille au milieu de l'océan Indien, mais encore moins l'été dans le joli pays des oreilles. Tout en a pour miracle. Ici, moi, elle est vraiment très bien. Moi, la trouve mon rogaille l'amoureux, chéri qu'elle. Lui, il a pas changé, il est toujours pareil pour raconter des histoires créoles. Quand il cause trop vite, lulu, puis qu'il y a que ça, même il est drôle. Mais fais attention, ennuie pas du tout, il a pas le temps de discuter. Quand il ne cause pas dans son dos, on va courir son rire.
France in Focus, presented by Nadia Charbet.
The must-see program to understand France, its history and culture. An original look at French society and topical themes, revealing just what makes France and the French so unique.
France in Focus.